Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, tankers of Blitz Universe. A few days after Tank Fest, we are back with a review of the T28 HTC. The heavy tank concept, not quite a historical tank. It's based probably on a mock-up wooden model of the T28, of which I've been able to find one picture on the internet. No certainty whether that was indeed the real tank or a real wooden model as people would make it in World War II, which they did. But it's a Tier 7 US premium tank destroyer, and it's currently available because of the 4th of July. It gets the Independence camouflage you do get on winter maps. Gonna show you a little shot in here of that camo. But it's just too bad I haven't had any really good games with it where I was wearing that camouflage. But it looks gaudy. It makes a real nice addition to the pack, together with T34 Independence, which is also known as a clown tank. And then you could well call this a clown destroyer, I think. Yeah. As you can see, it's slow. It's typically American in terms of gun, not brilliant, but it does the business. It has a really wide gun arc, and as per usual, we're going to take a full look at all the statistics, stats and numbers, armor profile, and especially the things you should do with this tank, because it has some massive, I think, C-sized weak spots. I've named it Boobs and Armour, and there's a reason for it, because this tank, you can see there's two little machine gun cupolas on the left and the right side of the superstructure. And those cupolas, they are the obvious weak spots. Any tank you face on the battlefield will be able to penetrate those weak spots. You do have a well-armored front. Tanks you will face can probably pen you with Premo on that front plate, because that's a very big front plate. And the tank has some monumental drawbacks. So, despite it being a Tier 7 premium tank destroyer, I would not recommend buying it. Just not. Why? I'm going to show you why exactly in the stats and numbers. But it lacks DPM. It has some serious drawbacks, and except for the armor, it really hasn't got anything to make up for it. Or it, might well be that really wide gun arc. It has 30 degrees on the left and 30 degrees on the right, which means you can practically shoot around the corners. As you can see here, there is no tank in Blitz, except for turret tanks, that I could have used to catch that shot on the IS that I just did. By wiggling around, I can bounce a shot from him, which is good. And you can see, even though we are doing a good job and shooting as much as we can, it comes down to me and just one other tank. And I'm going to speed up the video here, because all I'm going to do now is basically go into the cap area and just get myself what is it? Invaders medal? Yeah, Invaders medal for capturing 100 base points. There's an LTTB over there. I will never be able to chase him, so the best thing to do here is just park my butt in the cap and just cap it out. And I was hoping for the Bulldog to come towards me, which he kind of does in the end. But it's going to take very long for him to realize that he should really come to me. And he did play a good part in keeping that LTTB at bay, but you can see I really shouldn't get hit now with anything, pens or whatever, and then I would have been toast. I do tick 100 here, we'll bounce another shot, we'll shoot one into the LTTB. But yeah, you were fighting the Reds as much as you were fighting your enemy. You can see it's a decent earner, this tank at Tier 7, 43k net, not spectacular. 1 kill, 940 XP, 2.5k damage. In terms of shots, really bad. But yeah, if you look at the tank, this is the T28 HTC from the perspective of the Panther at Tier 7. I'm choosing mediums usually in the armor profile, and the Panther has by far the best penetration of the mediums at Tier 7. And you can see, as long as you keep your gun in between the tracks and face front, the Panther will have problems penetrating you. dead on you can shoot in the boobs or in the little nipples on top. But yeah, get it hull down against a Comet and any other tank, basically, except for Panther, medium tanks, light tanks. You will bounce shots all day long as you can keep the tanks in front of you. If you actually then start to face tanks from the back and from the side, they will just chew you up, even though you have 30 degrees of gun arc left and right. But against tier 8, this is a sand with a 70 pounder gun with a 77mm. We're slapping on a 20 pounder. Oh dear. That armor profile isn't that good anymore, even though it's 203mm at the front, which it says in game. That front plate, it's just flat. Anything that will go through if it can penetrate 203. There's nothing done in terms of angling. So if you look at the stats and numbers, what do you have really to work with? Well, you don't have any DPM, at least not really good DPM. ISU 122S has, well, not twice as much, but just look at it, it's really big. Do you have any alpha? No, 310, about on par with the rest. Do you have penetration? Nope, not really. Weapon handling sucks. Big bonker sucks. Your aim time is bad, which I find really strange. Gun depression, bad. Gun elevation, well, okay-ish. Gun arc, brilliant stuff, really good. Mobility, pfft, what mobility? Of course you have the armor, but if you can't get this tank into a position where you can use that armor, then it's a pretty shitty tank. And yes, it has by far better average damage than the other tanks, but come on, 173 people playing it, that's people who like the tank, who have become accustomed to its peculiarities and know how to use it, and just know how to work the tank, and you can make it work. I'm going to show you two more games. One is this one on Dynasty's Pearl, but I think this tank has been sort of punished really, and power creep as well. I mean, you don't have a really good gun in terms of penetration and alpha. 310 is on par with most of the tanks on the tier, tank destroyers, for example. You do have fairly useful APCR rounds, but this tank doesn't have good DPM, and if you have to use APCR, which is with this type of gun not uncommon when you face tier 8s, then you are really at a loss. I think you're what's the DPM? Let's check. If you use APCR, yeah, and if you then look at the DPM, if you have all the bells and whistles on, and that includes a rammer and double rations, then you do 1810 DPM. No adrenaline, obviously. You can boost it a bit with HE on light tanks, but if you have to use APCR against the likes of an IS-3, you can pen that lower plate, no problem whatsoever. Also on a Tiger B. But if you have to use APCR, then you're not even clocking 1600 DPM. That's just nothing really. I mean, a Comet will be able to out DPM you no problem whatsoever, and I think even tier 6 mediums will have no problem having more DPM against you. So you do have the armor, you do have that gun arc, which I'm using here. I don't like to play around the cap area, but you can see I had cut off already half a minute from the game, because it was just me driving into town, the team driving into town with me and Reds flanking, and there wasn't really anything to do. Low roll, 310 average LV, get do 302. You get set on fire and get shot in the butt again. But you can see I'm constantly working this middle area, trying to get the gun around the corner and protecting my boobie, which I do again. Low roll, but we bounce a shot again on from the T28 E3. Oh god, there's a Tiger P at the back. Luckily he's not shooting me, and this one goes into the T150 and we do kill him. But you can see you are fighting the odds and the terrain and your teammates as much as you are fighting the Reds. And luckily my teammates are doing a proper job at keeping the Reds busy, which allows me to drive around and shoot tanks from time to time. But it's such a hard tank to play, this one. It took me quite a while to figure out how to play it. using APCR on this Tiger P because I want to make that shot count. I want to get it in, and I realized there was an AMX-12T behind him. So yeah, just keep him there, keep him locked in, and make those shots count. Really, that's what you have to do in this tank. Am I going to buy it? No, I won't. I was looking forward to it when it was originally released into World of Tanks Blitz, because I kind of liked it. It was an American tank, it was a tank destroyer, and I was thinking, alright, this one looks funky. And then I played it and I was thinking, oh, okay, it looks funky, but it plays funky as well. And I don't like funky, I like versatile, I like efficient, but I don't really like funky. And this one is funky in terms of, I mean, special. Really special. And the thing that really puzzles me is why is this tank really punished hard in the gun, really. I mean, if you take a look, scroll back if you want to. I'll talk you through it, no problem. If you take a look at the gun from the T28 AT, which we've reviewed earlier as a hidden gem, really. If the T28 HTC would have had that gun, which is a T5 as well, a T5 E1, this is a T5, it's more or less the same gun, but with better penetration, better aim time. Everything's better on the T25 AT. If the T28 HTC would have had the gun from the T25 AT, it would have been a whole different package, because then it would have had more DPM. It would still have had that frontal armor profile, which is pretty good. It would have had that gun arc, but it would have had far more of a fighting chance, really. I mean, just look at this, how long it takes to reload after the shot. I missed the first one, obviously, stupid. I'm loading up HE to really up my damage again, but it takes me forever to get the second shot loaded. I'm using AP because I can't go through with HE, unfortunately. And he's taken up by the Jagdpanther. Thank you very much. And for those of you who follow me on Instagram and Twitter, this is going to be a very tight game. And it's an ace game. I managed to pull off an ace on this one. And again, yeah, as you can see, we're fighting the team as much as we are fighting the Reds. Completely derp dunk, missed the shot on the IS, typically American. Bit lucky with the Jagdpanther earlier shooting a shot into the dirt, and now the IS putting a shell into the dirt. Thank you very much. But that one as well, the SU-100Y, big gun. Yeah, he can really hurt me, and that's what I'm looking for now. I want to get into a position where I can use my gun arc, because I'm already sensing that the team is going to fall. The team is going to crumble massively. There's still a Jagdpanther in red spawn. And what I want to do now is get myself into a position where I can use the gun arc. So I'm slowly backing up, and I'm going to go in the area overwatching the A cap from Supremacy, because that's where I can go. And then wait for the inevitable Kolobanov. This is going to be an ace game of Kolobanov. I do suggest you watch it until the end, because it's a pretty darn good game with some nice little sneaky tricks. One of which is me hiding behind this little shed, and it's not that I can now really use that shed and block the shell from the IS. But I'm making it for him a lot harder to shoot me in the boob than if I would have been not hiding in the shed. I know he's probably reloaded by now. Yeah, he is. Alright, I can shoot you now. There we go. Right through your front plate. Lovely. You are two shots to me now. There's a one shot there. Ooh, crap. That's the... Yep, that's the Jagdpanther then. I haven't got a clue where the KV3 is, and I don't like that. Well, we're going to hopefully finish off. Can we save our teammate? No, he doesn't need saving. He saves himself. That's good. That's 3 versus 2. I am, yeah, 2 shots basically to anybody on the field. 642. Jagdpanther, if he rolls high twice or rolls reasonably high, then he can finish me off, no problem whatsoever. He does have the penetration to go through, but luckily he shoots me on my gun or on my front plate and goes through. It doesn't shoot the lower plate, but he goes doesn't go through. I bounce one shot. But now it's a 1 versus 3. The Jagdband drops down. I'm having a bit of lag, and I'm really working backwards into the corner where I want to be. And look at this. I mean, even that gun depression, -4. Buddy, why? Why do we need -4? If I would have had -7, I would have had to put a shot into him straight away. IS-3 is rolling in the meantime. Still haven't got a clue what a KV-3 is. But you can see what I'm talking about. Going forward is quick enough once you pick up speed, 30 kilometers per hour, good, no problem there in that regard. Backwards, crappy. I'm only using a rammer here. What is it? Rammer improved modules and optics, I think. Nothing in terms of added traverse yet, because I wanted to show what the tank can do if you get it. Obviously, you can use more equipment now with the credits soon. Not in this update yet, but it will be in 5.1, and well, you really need that added traverse or engine power, because yeah, it's slow. And like I said, once you pick up speed, it goes quite well forward in a way, but this tank just isn't suited to the game that Blitz is at the moment. This is a flat ground city fighter. It's a tank that should go onto Himmelsdorf. And I've had really good games on Middelburg, where I went to the far right hand side, behind the cap area. Don't go on the hills with this one. Once you get there, half the team is gone. And I've had a lot of games as well where I just couldn't keep up with the team and didn't do any damage whatsoever. We've won a few games where I did like 1k damage, 1.5 maximum, which is 4 to 5 shots hitting. We're going to do a lot more on this one, but it's a tank that's playable if you can manufacture shots, but it's not a tank that is really enjoyable to play in terms of gameplay. AT-15A, far better one. SU-122 44 readily available from the tech tree. I would grab one of those over this one anytime, unless you know you can be on Himmelsdorf or on Middelburg, and you can just keep shooting around the corners and finishing red tanks. This was a bit of a nerve-wracker, and a game which I'm very pleased with, and you can probably figure out why that is, because it's an ace game, 4.1k damage. I've had one comment on Twitter. I wasn't aware of the fact that this tank could do this much damage, and I think that says it all. Not the best tank available at the moment. Nevertheless, I greet you all, ladies and gentlemen, tankers of the Blitz universe. Thanks for all the support. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Cheers and happy tanking.